The chair turned slowly. He expected a rival general, a government official, maybe even a ghost. Instead, he saw me. "Zara?" His voice cracked. "This is impossible. I sent you to the slums. I made sure you had nothing." I stood, walked to the window overlooking Seoul, and smiled. "You didn't banish a waitress, Jihun. You banished the woman who now owns your empire." He fell to his knees. And that's when I knew. The dragon head of Seoul had finally been slayed, but to understand how a mafia boss lost everything to the woman he threw away in the rain. We have to go back to the beginning. 3 years ago, I was serving champagne at an exclusive Korean restaurant in Gangnam when Park Jihun walked in. Everyone knew who he was, the dragon head, feared, untouchable, ruthless. He looked at me like I was the only person in the room, and like an idiot, I fell for it. We got married 6 months later in a private ceremony. No cameras, no guests, just his closest advisors and a woman who thought love could survive in darkness. I was wrong. Tonight was our 3rd wedding anniversary. I'd spent the afternoon preparing his favourite meal, wearing the red dress he bought me in Paris, waiting for him to come home. He never showed. Instead, I heard voices coming from his study. His door was cracked open. I shouldn't have listened, but I did. "The elders are demanding an answer, Jihun." That was Min-soo, his most trusted advisor. "The treaty with the Choi family requires marriage. Real marriage, not this. This," Jihun's voice was cold, detached. "You mean my wife?" "I mean the placeholder, the distraction. Sir, with all respect, she was useful when you needed to appear human. But now, the syndicate needs legitimacy. She's a black American waitress with no family, no connections, no value." Silence. I waited for Jihun to defend me, to tell Min-soo he was out of line. Instead, I heard him laugh. "You're right. I've kept her around longer than necessary. Dispose of it quietly. I don't want drama. Dispose of it." My hands shook, my vision blurred. But I didn't cry. Not yet. I walked back to our bedroom, packed a single bag and waited. An hour later, Jihun's mother arrived. Madam Park. The cruelest woman I'd ever met. She walked into the bedroom like she owned it, which technically she did. "So, you heard?" She didn't ask. She stated. I nodded. "Good. That saves time." She held out her hand. "The ring." I looked down at my wedding band, the one Jihun slipped on my finger while whispering promises he never meant. "It's mine," I said quietly. She slapped me. Hard. "Nothing here is yours. Not the ring. Not the name. Not even the air you're breathing in my son's house." She grabbed my hand and yanked the ring off my finger. "This cost more than your entire bloodline is worth. You don't deserve to wear it." She threw it on the floor. "You have 1 hour. Be gone before my son returns. If I ever see you again, I'll make sure you disappear permanently." I picked up my bag, walked out into the rain, and didn't look back. What Madam Park didn't know? What Jihun didn't know? For 3 years, I'd been sending daily reports to the Han Dynasty group. Every meeting, every deal, every weakness. I'd been a spy in the Dragon's Den. And now? It was time to burn it all down. If you've ever been underestimated by someone who thought you were nothing, subscribe now, because what happens next will make you believe in karma. I spent the first 3 months in a tiny studio apartment in Itaewon. No heat, no furniture except a mattress on the floor. I worked at a convenience store during the day. At night, I planned. Jihun thought I was broken. His mother thought I'd crawled back to America. They were both wrong. I was invisible. And invisible people see everything. One morning, I received a text from an unknown number. "It's time. Come home." I knew exactly what it meant. The next day, I walked into the Han Dynasty Group headquarters. The building was 102 floors of steel and glass, dominating Seoul's skyline like a monument to power. 2 guards stepped in front of me at the entrance. "This is private property. You need clearance." I pulled out a small jade seal from my bag, the Phoenix seal. Both guards' faces went pale. They dropped to one knee. "Madam Chairman." I walked past them into the elevator, pressed the button for the 102nd floor, and rode up in silence. The doors opened to a massive office overlooking the entire city. Standing at the window was a man I hadn't seen in 20 years, my father, Chairman Han Jae-won. "You stayed too long." His voice was calm, disappointed. "I told you 3 years maximum. You gave him 3 years and 2 months. "I needed to be sure," I said. He turned to face me. Older now, greyer, but still terrifying in the way all only truly powerful men are. "And? Are you sure?" "He's weak. His men are loyal to money, not to him. His suppliers are stretched thin. His enemies are circling. He's 1 bad quarter away from collapse." My father smiled. "Good. Then it's time to teach him the Hun way." He gestured to a chair. I sat. "Power isn't taken, Zara. It's reclaimed. Your mother was Han Dynasty blood. You were always meant to sit in this chair, but you wanted to play in the gutter with a street thug." "I wanted to see if he was worth saving." "And?" "He's not." My father nodded. "Then we proceed with the ghost takeover. You won't just destroy him. You'll absorb him. His ports, his supply chains, his men, his legacy. Everything he built will become ours. And he'll watch it happen without ever knowing your name was behind it." He handed me a folder. Inside were 3 targets, 3 strikes, 3 ways to end the dragonhead of Seoul. "Don't make it quick," my father said. "Make it educational." Jihun's entire operation ran on one thing: untraceable shipping containers moving through Busan port, weapons, drugs, cash, all hidden in plain sight using shell companies and bribed officials. But every shell company has a registration, and every registration has an owner. It took me 2 weeks to buy every single company in Jihun's supply chain without him noticing. On a Tuesday night, I activated the trap. 200 shipping containers were seized by Busan Customs, not by the police, by a private security firm called Phoenix Logistics, my firm. Jihun lost $200 million in one night. I watched the news coverage from my apartment, eating ramen and smiling. His phone rang 47 times that night. I know because I was listening. My father's tech team had every phone in Jihun's organization tapped. "Who the hell is Phoenix Logistics?" Jihun screamed at Minsu. We don't know, sir. They appeared out of nowhere. The contracts are airtight. Legally, we can't touch the containers." "Then make it illegal. Pay someone. Do something." "Sir, the officials we usually pay, they're not answering." "Because I'd paid them more. Drop your city below. I want to know where power is listening from. Because this is just the beginning. Jihun's power wasn't just money. It was status. In Seoul's underground, there's a place called the Blue Club. Invite only, where mafia bosses, politicians and billionaires make deals over whiskey that costs more than most people's cars. Jihun had been a member for 10 years. Until he wasn't. I bought the Blue Club 3 weeks after the port seizure, quietly, through another shell company. Then I revoked every membership and sent new invitations to a carefully curated list. Jihun's name wasn't on it. He showed up anyway, walked right up to the door in his custom suit, expecting to be welcomed like royalty. The doorman stopped him. "I'm sorry, sir. Your membership has been revoked." "Revoked? By who?" "By the new owner." "And who the hell is that?" The doorman smiled. "An anonymous female billionaire. That's all I'm authorized to say." Jihun's face went red. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes, sir. You're the man who's no longer welcome here." Security escorted him off the property. I watched the whole thing from the VIP lounge on the 2nd floor, sipping champagne, wearing the same red dress from our anniversary. He never looked up. Strike 3. The family betrayal. Jihun had one rival who'd been circling for years. Kang Dae-jung, head of the Kang family, ruthless, strategic, patient. He'd been waiting for Jihun to show weakness. I gave it to him. I arranged a private meeting with Kang at a neutral location. He walked in expecting a trap. Instead, he found me sitting alone at a table with a briefcase. "You're Jihun's wife." He didn't sit. "Ex-wife. Technically." I pushed the briefcase toward him. "Open it." He did. Inside was $50 million in untraceable bonds. "What is this?" "A down payment. I'm buying Jihun's debts. All of them. Every loan, every favor, every promise he made to you and your allies. I'm assuming them. And in return, you stop protecting him." Kang stared at me. "Why would I trust you?" "Because in 6 months, Jihun will be bankrupt. And when he is, I'll own his territory. You can either fight me for it then, or you can take this money now and watch me do your job for you." He closed the briefcase. "Who are you really?" I smiled. Someone Jihun should have treated better. Kang left with the money. 2 days later, Jihun's men started looking at him differently, whispering, hesitating when he gave orders. Because word had spread, the dragonhead was falling, and no one wanted to fall with him. Jihun lasted 6 weeks before he broke. 6 weeks of watching his empire collapse, his ports seized, his status destroyed, his allies abandoning him. He had one option left: beg. That's how he ended up at the Phoenix Tower. 102nd floor. My floor. The receptionist called ahead. "Madam Chairman, Park Jihun is here. He's demanding to see the owner." I smiled. "Send him up." The elevator doors opened. Jihun stumbled into my office like a ghost. His suit was wrinkled. His eyes were bloodshot. He looked 10 years older. "I know you're in here," he shouted into the empty room. "I've tracked the money. Every bank, every shell company leads back to this office. Show yourself, coward." I let him scream. Let him rage. Let him break. Then I turned my chair around. His face went white. "Zara?" He whispered it like a prayer. "No, this is a hallucination. You're in the clinic. I sent you to the slums. I made sure you had nothing." I stood slowly, walked to the window. "You sent a woman to the slums, Jihun, but you forgot to check who her father was." I turned to face him. "The slums were just a temporary stop. This tower. This was my birthright. I didn't have nothing. I had the one thing you never understood: patience." He laughed. It was the laugh of a man losing his mind. "So what? You're a billionaire's daughter. You think a few bank accounts can stop the Soul Syndicate? My men will tear this building down by sunset." I gestured to the window. "Your men? Look down." He did. In the street below, dozens of black SUVs, his own fleet, were being rebranded with the Phoenix logo. His soldiers stood at attention, not facing the building to attack it, facing outward, protecting it. "I didn't just buy your debt, Jihun, I bought your loyalty. Every man who used to call you boss now calls me Madam Chairman. You aren't a dragon anymore. You're just a man in an expensive suit with an empty gun." He fell to his knees. "Why? Why do this to me? I gave you a child. I gave you a name." I leaned down, whispered in his ear. "You gave me a name? You took my name, replaced it with Stain. You didn't give me a child, you tried to trap me with one. I'm not doing this for revenge, Jihun, I'm doing this for cleanup. I'm removing the trash from my daughter's path." I straightened, looked at the guards. "He's breathing my air. Take him to the basement. I have a few more papers for him to sign before he disappears for good." They dragged him out. He didn't fight. He didn't scream. He just stared at me with empty eyes. The dragonhead of Soul had been slayed, and I didn't even have to touch him. 2 weeks later, Jihun asked to see our daughter. I allowed it. Once. Through a glass partition in the Phoenix Tower lobby. He pressed his hand against the glass. She didn't even look at him. "She doesn't remember you," I said. "I made sure of that. Zara, please, I'm begging you. Let me fix this." "There's nothing left to fix. You're not her father. You're a cautionary tale I'll tell her when she's older." He left broken, and I went back to my office. That night, a letter arrived. No return address. Inside was a single photograph. Me and my father. 20 years ago, but someone had put a bullet hole through his head in the photo. The message was written in red ink. The Mafia was just the beginning. The real war for the Han dynasty starts now. I stared at the photo. Then I smiled, because whoever sent this didn't understand one simple truth. I wasn't afraid of war. I was built for it. If you made it this far, you didn't just watch a revenge story. You witnessed a masterclass in power. Subscribe because the next chapter, it's even more dangerous. Comment your country below. Let me know where real ones are watching from.